Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the One Nation of Gamers Summer Circuit Feature Tournament number 4. Once again, I'm TJ, joined by Trump. And Trump, we're about to jump into the losers match between Dart and Weasel. And both these players got 0-3'd in their first matchup, so they have a lot to prove.
That they do. We've got both players having a significantly different lineup. Remind me, did both players bring Handlock?
No, Dart brought Zoo, and Weasel, we haven't seen his Warlock yet.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
Well, in that case, it is possible but all these... this is going to... I think I like the matchups where absolutely no decks overlap. The only overlapping class is Warlock, so this makes for a matchup where we're going to see a lot of different matchups.
Yeah, which is pretty exciting. Dart's the only player in this group to bring Rogue, so that's a little bit of an interesting choice. I think Dart's bringing a very similar lineup to what his teammate the Rat brought in the qualifier on Friday. It seems like the guys from Team Illuminati really like Rogue as a class. They think it's super strong, which I tend to agree with them. It's sort of that fourth class that just sort of floats there, and it's like that when players tend to pick, they usually pick two of the strong three, either Warlock, Hunter, or Warrior, and then their third class is usually one of those floaters like Rogue or like Druid. So both players are sort of in that boat this game, and it is going to be interesting to see not really that overlap. So maybe Weasel will bring Handlock, and we'll see 6 completely different decks in this game, this match.
Yep, that would be something.
So keep in mind, guys, the winner of this matchup moves on to elimination match. So these players still have 2 matches left to win if they want to move on to the semifinals. The loser is out of the tournament and goes out in 7th/8th place, which is definitely not what you want to stamp on your Hearthstone competitive resume as being tied for last in a feature tournament. Of course, both these players did work to get where they are. Weasel won a qualifier. Dart got here through points, so they've been successful enough in the opens to make it here. But still bittersweet to go out in the tied for last. And it looks like it is going to be Warrior versus Warrior.
Yeah, bit of a surprise. I guess the overlay classes was incorrect. So, yeah. Warrior, both with Patron.
That is... Okay, they do both have it. I could have sworn that Weasel didn't have Warrior.
Right, I remember I hyped up something along the lines of, "Oh, okay, we got like another player without."
He knew that because he
Warrior.
knew that Roger was playing Handlock, so he didn't bring Patron. But I guess it was just the overlay, and we didn't see the Warrior in the first match, so we didn't know. But I'm looking at the deck list that I have on my sheet here, and Warrior is listed under Weasel. So he's Hunter, Warlock, Warrior, and Dart is Rogue, Warlock, Warrior. So his was wrong also because his I think had a Hunter. I'm not sure. We'll look at it during the next break, but right now we'll get going with this match. Patron Warrior versus Patron Warrior. The most exciting mirror matchup.
Honestly, one of the more exciting ones. One of Dart's advantages is that he managed to get a weapon onto a minion early on, and therefore that allowed him to get the battle rage. It's often difficult in this matchup to get battle rage to even draw 1 card.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you get to those really late turns, which doesn't usually happen. You don't usually have enough mana to be able to do so. Both players have patrons, but Weasel has more ways to propagate them. I guess not really. That's an execute, not a war one. So both players have Despite plus patron. Dart will be able to make patrons as early as next turn, but only 2. Unless
Big draw by Weasel there. Got the second activator for the patron. But Dart has the Harrison Jones, which is really big on his side. So currently both players are at a bit of a standoff usually in this matchup. Whoever patrons first has an advantage.
Yes. And Dread Corsair, not really applicable. It is free, but I don't really see without Battle Rage a big reason why he would play it this turn. I think Harrison's just pretty much automatic. His Armor Smith will die, but I don't know if he's too worried about that. I mean, he could try and protect his Harrison by playing Dread Corsair on curve, but not sure how relevant that really is. He is going to give it some thought, though.
Yeah, I mean, it does add. One of the things that I talked to the Rat about in an event that we attended together was that he's a really big fan of one Dread Corsair. Like, he used to put in two Dread Corsair. So I guess Illuminati, the team, would be more willing to stick in that Dread Corsair. It's been seeing a lot less popularity as of late, but still a very reasonable choice.
It's kind of interesting. The Rat played in one of the qualifiers earlier in the week, and he actually played Control Warrior. For a while,
Damn,
he was
twist.
known as yeah, I know. For a while, he was known as like the king of Patron Warrior, and he was one of the innovators of the deck early in its existence. And now he's going the way of the Control Warrior. So I was really intrigued by that, but it was kind of funny.
Weasel in a pickle here. Doesn't have the second activator for the Whirlwind. That Harrison Jones really took the wind out of his sails. Dart, though, still without a second activator for his patrons. He is playing the Thorson here. It's a little bit light in terms of what it combos with, but there is the potential for it to go double. And looking at Weasel's hand, he actually doesn't have any solution. Oh man, when you leave the Thorson up for 2 turns, that's disaster.
Yeah, and now we're sort of getting to that point where neither player wants to really play Patrons because they see that they've both reduced so many cards in their hand that if they play Patrons, that's just giving more Whirlwind targets for the Frothing Berserker to get buffed. So it's a little bit scary to sort of go for that. You sort of have to take the risk and say, well, if I'm going to go for this, then if my opponent has Warsong Frothing, I'm probably dead.
Right. Dart is going to get a really, really good next reduction on the Thorsan. So he doesn't want to trade Thorsan into Thorsan. His hand, though, isn't giving him a great option. Going to get it with the Gnomish Inventor, draw a card, and possibly get a better card. But even with Execute, with Execute, that would be great. He can have the Taskmaster execute. It seems like he would have to use the Deathbite charge to kill the Thorsan, but that's probably worth it just because getting another discount with Thorsan is so big. Ooh, or is he not? Tough choice. Wow, I'm surprised by that. When I look at that hand, that is so juicy to get another full reduction on 2 patrons, 2 frothings, a commander. You can turn the Taskmaster into 0.
I think that was Miss Lethal.
Wow.
He had 9 damage with Deathbite plus Thorsan, an extra 3 from the Dread Corsair, so that's 12. He could have played Warsong, Frothing, plus Cruel Taskmaster.
No, he drew into the frothing. I think, right? No, I never.
On the Frothing was the natural draw for the turn. Yeah, he missed it. Yeah.
2,
So
4,
so with the Dread Corsair and just the base damage from Cruel Taskmaster, Frothing, that's 18 damage. So he would only need to have buffed each Frothing by 6, which there was Cruel Taskmaster, Warsong, Dread Corsair, Frothing, Emperor Thorsan, which is 7 targets. So that was 34 damage, and Weasel was at 33 health with the armor up. So
bam, good catch. Even past that, though, I guess I was so blinded by the Emperor Thorsan living, giving the cards discounted. Like, I have to consider, of the lines of play, that still seems like it would have been the second best to leave the Thorsan and then get like discounts on every single important card yet again. But neither line was taken, and
that's why you put in the Dread Corsair, for that reason alone, right there.
Yeah, the Dread Corsair would have represented 5 damage there.
Yeah, 5 damage, one whirlwind effect, and that was all he needed. He didn't even need the inner rage, which he drew into, so that wouldn't have been a factor. Since the Frolic Berserk was the natural draw, the inner rage came from the Gnomish Inventor, which he wouldn't have had the mana for. Um, but now he's off lethal because with the armor up and without the 5 damage from Thorsan represented on the board, then he just doesn't have enough. And this gives Weasel the opportunity, but I think Dart is still in an advantageous position because he sort of has the initiative. He has all the pieces, and Weasel needs to lethal him. He can't really play things until he has enough damage to just straight up kill Dart because.
Uh-oh, here we go. That's if this isn't a kill, which I don't think it is, then Dart should be able to reverse kill pretty easily.
It might be. He has 2 whirlwind effects on a frothing. He also gets the damage from each patron. If it's not lethal, it's an absurd amount of armor gained. No, I don't think it's quite lethal because he only has 1 frothing. It's still an absurd amount of armor gained.
Damn. He's getting the extra 2 damage from the Armor Smith as well. The extra
wait.
3 damage. It's interesting to see that Armor Smith is worth 3.
No, he's going to get 2 more patrons because he's going to have room on his board after trading in the Armor Smith. So I think that might be it, but he has to go. Weasel said in his bio that he loses a lot of patron matches from just from just roping. So he only has a couple seconds left. Can he get all the attacks in here? That rope's going really fast. The spectator mode
one off.
He ended the turn with green, so he's off. 6. He was 1 off, yeah.
Manages to get it in. 1 off. Oh man, here's the reverse kill though. That's gotta be lethal.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
So Dart not going to get punished for the lethal miss, but
Almost
on the verge of it.
So close.
Yeah, I think that Weasel sequenced that in the perfect way. I think he got the absolute maximum amount of damage that he could have. Because getting the extra if he had saved the Armor Smith, it would have been the exact same amount of damage. Because he would have been able to hit the face for 1 with the Armor Smith, but he wouldn't have got the extra patron. But the Frothing would have gotten an extra whirlwind effect. So he did sequence that in the best way possible. I'm pretty sure.
That definitely looked like the most damage possible.
Yeah. But just being 1 off, so that's a little bit heartbreaking. And
if that Gnomish Inventor on Dart's side had 1 more health, then Weasel could have had lethal because the Whirlwind would have hit the Armor Smith 1 extra time from the ghoul. So really, really small things.
Wait a second.
What? Is that not lethal?
If he needs to get in an attack with both patrons. He didn't get it!
Oh my gosh, Dart! Oh no! Oh no, Dart!
I saw the end turn button. I'm like, wait, that was lethal. That was guaranteed lethal. He just waited too long. He didn't get in the attacks with the last 2 patrons that did have charge. That would have been enough with those last 2 patrons. He just took a little bit too long. And that is a huge mistake. He threw out the well played even. He knew it was lethal.
If only he had spent a little less time right-clicking his name and typing well played. Maybe he would have had enough. Oh no! Well.
So Dart had 2 opportunities to win in that game, and he sort of hands that match over to Weasel on a silver platter, and that's rough. A mirror matchup, losing a close mirror matchup like that is not only bad for the matchup, but also a little bit demoralizing. So now Dart's going to have to find it with another deck, and Weasel is going to throw out the Hunter to go up against Dart's patron.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's brutal. All right. Well, Dark keeps Fiery War Axe. That's definitely a good card to have in this matchup. Weasel seems to be running the Hybrid Hunter. He does have Shredders as well as High Mains, but also some aggressive elements. He does run Morgan Infiltrators, Abusive Sergeants, Leper Gnomes, so definitely sort of all in on the hybridness.
Dart bringing the 2 Fiery War Axe version, which is going to be a slight plus in this matchup. Definitely a plus in the sense that you are more likely to draw one. Drawing both, not so great.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
Did he just... Okay. Yeah. He equipped the Fireworks last turn because he knew that he was going to have to use one. And then is able to fit an armor up in this turn. So High Main is such a tough card for pretty much all warriors to deal with. Pretty much all classes to deal with. There's not very many classes that can kill it off cleanly. The only one I can think of after turn 7 is like Priest can Shadow or Death, Shadow Madness. A 2-card combo for 7 mana that cleanly deals with a High Main. But it's really tough.
Yeah, silence seems to be the best answer. There was a while when I was playing Control Warrior and there was so much mid-range Hunter that I was like, oh, okay, I can get it to be the sole minion on the board. I'm just going to Tinker Master over Spark it. Speaking of which, Polymorph is also a good answer.
Yeah, that is true. Polymorph probably one of the best. Also along with Hex. But Shamans are pretty non-existent, and the Shamans that we do see don't even run Hex with Mech Shamans, so... Ooh, finds both Whirlwinds. This could be big cards, because he does have Patron sitting in his hand.
Slight surprise here. I would have normally expected the Inventor, but this play does allow the armor up also, and allows the armor up next turn.
If he wants to go for the armor up next turn. Ooh, now he's definitely going to go for it. But to deal with this Lothab, he has to
Well,
smack
that's a good
into
play.
it.
Doesn't reduce that many things, but in this matchup, just a 6 mana 5/5 might be good enough. Plus, it's actually 2 mana 5/5 since you're reducing all the cards that you would play anyways. Weasel with a lot of burn in his hand.
Okay, so if you're Weasel in this situation, do you just ignore the Thorsan and go face? Slams High Main and go face? I think you do. You have enough burn. Not even a second
One of
thought
those
given.
calls you have to make that, okay, I'm very likely to kill him the next turn, or if not next turn, then 2 turns from now. So the Thorsan discount isn't going to have enough time to go into effect.
Yeah. Dark can double Whirlwind this turn, so he can Patron double Whirlwind and clear off the Savannah High Main completely, and also develop 4 Patrons, plus be able to fit in an armor up.
Yep, that's going to put Weasel very close, but he's going to be 1 mana short of playing both kill commands and the steady shot.
Doesn't run
gonna-
Web Spinner, so Web Spinner off the top wouldn't do it. It would do it, but he doesn't have it, so...
Going to be... Yeah, it's still either guy's game. Weasel needs to pick up just 1 damage, and... Oh, I didn't even see that. Dark could fit a hero power there, so he's actually 2 damage off on top of that.
So he needs to try and find a way to efficiently do damage this turn, but really just hero power. I don't think he can afford to use the kill command. He might be inclined to use 1 to make it so that unleash kill command next turn wins him the game. He is on a clock, but right now he's only staring at a maximum of 9 damage because he does have the freezing trap up. So he does go with the kill command, so he's going to hedge his bets and give him more outs because he won't have enough mana to play both kill commands plus whatever direct damage he draws into next turn. Unstable
Right.
Ghoul is a really good draw because all of a sudden Unleash the Hounds becomes useless unless he has an owl. So
No,
Unleash
still
the
lethal
Hounds,
though. With
it's still lethal, yeah. But from his perspective, Unstable Ghoul is nearly an automatic play here.
Right. The kill command was a good move. It opens up a lot of plays to be lethal, including Creeper and
Animal Companion.
yeah.
That was an owl.
That's a beast.
So that's it.
Yep, that's good.
All right.
Oh
So
man.
Weasel.
Dart's mistake in some way costs him 2 games since he lost with this one now too.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if you lose a game that you should have won, that's already a 2-game swing because you basically missed a win and you gained a loss. Now with almost with every single loss you get, that kind of gets tacked on. It's a little bit unfair to say that, but almost a 3-game swing, so to say.
Be heartbreaking if he gets 3-0'd, especially if all 3 of his losses are with Patron. But Weasel, he's going to throw out the Warlock. We don't know what kind of Warlock deck this is. If it's Handlock, then Dart will be incredibly punished. And it's not. It is Demon Zoo. So it is going to be a mirror matchup here. Demon Zoo versus Demon Zoo.
All right. It's all about who gets the early game curve. Dart throws back the Abusive Sergeant. Some players keep it just as a hedge, but it is the weakest 1-drop you can play.
Weasel really taking his time here.
I think I'm of the school of thought that would keep an Abusive Sergeant and play it on turn 1 if I were going first.
Yeah. He's not really punished by anything.
No, it's punished by Voidcaller, or Voidwalker rather.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Voidwalker. Oh,
There's
Flavor
kind of
starts.
The Abusive Sergeant is one of those cards which you keep just because it's a 1-drop, and it trades evenly against Flame Imp, and it actually gains a slight advantage against Flame Imp, and it does horribly to Voidcaller. Walker.
Yeah.
Dart stumbles on turn 2.
Weasel will not whiff on turn 2, though, which is a big deal. But
Dart takes a moment to think about whether or not he can push in 3 damage. It turns out that he could have, but I wonder if there's many ways to get punished if he doesn't trade. I guess the simple cost would be maybe your opponent doesn't trade also, and then it's just a simple trade of 3 damage, and you have to decide whether or not that's good.
yeah, Voidcaller ends up being a fantastic pickup here
Oh, really good.
because he's got 2 very high-powered demons in his hand that he can pull from this. And as of now, Dart does not have an owl to be able to deal with it. Also, does not really have too much of a threat of his own. Implosion can be a swing here. See what he rolls. So far, we've seen 2 4s today. But
Ugh.
unfortunately, Dart's luck is running out. The world is punishing him at the moment. And now that's just pretty brutal. Especially since Weasel's got such a nice play lined up. I mean, I guess it's not that nice. Because most likely Dart will just slam down a Loatheb this turn. So it makes it a little bit awkward, but
Yeah, the power overwhelming though would be pretty good then. It wouldn't immediately allow the charge, but just having a 5/7 on the board is pretty good.
ooh, he decides to go into it right now and it pulls out the Doom Guard.
Wow. A bold play.
Double power overwhelming is a little bit rough though. He needs things to activate those with. like eggs, haunted creepers, maybe other void callers. His Dart will be able to trade up here with Power Overwhelming and Lotheb, so he will be stronger on the board. It's usually how this matchup goes, though. Both players just fighting back and forth through the board. I think even though Weasel had the Void Caller that pulled out a Demon first, Dart has managed to deal with it cleanly, and he does have a Dr. Boom. Oh, Sylvanas, though. Wow. This is so back and forth.
That's right. Good but not great. It trades evenly, basically as taught. The Dr. Boom is going to be a really big deal here.
Power Overwhelming doesn't allow him to trade up into the Dr. Boom. He's 1 damage off doing that. His hand is really poor right now. Inking Boss is a creature that can fight. Direwolf Alpha also, but still not really much to trade into. He's going to have to hope that he can just burst him out here, which is kind of a long shot. He does have double Power Overwhelming. He does still have a Doomguard left in his deck, so it is a possibility. But as the game goes on, it's going to get more and more unlikely. And now Dart has the Knife Juggler Implosion combination, which has the potential to be really huge.
Yep, the bad news is there is an Imp Game Boss on the board. Dart forced to trade into it first without the Wolf, but this makes it a lot safer for him. Dart's basically in winning mode right now and just minimizing the risk. Seemed really grim for him for quite some time, but there is just a little bit of a lull in what Weasel could do.
Yeah. And now Dart has 14 damage on the board. Weasel is at 17 health, so he can afford to tap because there's not enough room on the board. But if he taps, he can't play anything that would give him room to... Yeah, he can only... Nope, okay. He's dead. Well, not yet, but...
Alright, not yet. Still not yet. So, Dart probably gonna go for a Boombot first. See if the fates really favor him. A little bit.
Put this apple on your head.
It's possible to get lethal still.
I don't think so anymore. Oh yeah, he can get if he Iron Beak Owls this, both juggles go face. Trades 1/1/1 in, and then plays Haunted Creeper and both juggles go face. Then yes. But that's the only way. Okay, 1 juggle goes face, 2 juggles goes face. If both juggles go face, he still preserves lethal. But they don't.
Damage
So
off.
is 1 off. But that's gonna do it.
Wouldn't that be something to top deck Leroy and then just power overwhelming? I'd crush Dart.
Wouldn't that be something? But not going to happen. And Dart puts himself on the board. He is going to take his first victory of the day, actually. Got 3-0 in his first series, went down 2-0 in this series. And Weasel still on match point. He still has to find a win with that Demon Zoo. He's going to go up against Rogue and Warrior. And I actually got the statistics earlier. Let me see if I can scroll up and see it. Oil Rogue is... mid-range Zoo is actually favored against Oil Rogue, at least in the statistics that we have here. 21 wins for Oil Rogue, 28 wins for the mid-range Zoo. So only a 42 or almost 43% win rate for Oil Rogue in this matchup. So it is tough. But I think he threw at the Warrior first. Yeah, he threw at the Warrior first.
And this matchup is quite close. Weasel with a pretty good start, though. Egg into Void Terror.
Into Void Caller, if he picks up a Doomguard or a Mal'Ganis, then he's in great shape.
Dart also in great shape, though. Has that Fiery War Axe into a Death Spite. That's going to stem the bleeding a lot. Some people wouldn't play the Fiery War Axe on the coin there, but this play does allow him to contest the Knife Juggler or a Flame Imp that would come out. Going to be a little bit disappointed to see the egg because the coin could have been saved.
Yeah,
It's more reasonable because he did have the ghoul, so this lets him stay on curve with the 2-drop into the 2-drop.
It's Unstable Ghoul. Wow, he does draw into the Doom Guard. So Unstable
Ooh,
Ghoul
that's
actually
good.
will allow him to clear the board if he throws the Unstable Ghoul in anything. Fireworks is down the Nerubian and executes the.
And that Acolyte's a really good draw. Won't allow him to clear, but it does allow him to get the 2-card draw off of Acolyte, which is going
Yeah,
to be really helpful.
yeah, for sure. He's thinking about it though. I mean, it's a lot of damage that he's going to take. He's going to have to Fire Wax one of these things down, and then he's most likely going to take the 3 damage from the Void Terror that's going to come out the next turn. So, Fireworks actually not the best draw because he already has Deathbite, and after that, I mean, he's going to be in a spot. Ooh,
Oh man, it sucks as a demon Z to have that perfect lineup and then foiled.
he might
Sometimes.
he might even think about using Implosion here just so next turn he can Void Call or Void Walker.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that play better, just because it guarantees that he gets Doomguard out, which is actually a really big deal.
Furthermore, it gets the imps out at a time where you can't get messed up by patron, and basically the implosion is a dead card the later you get into the game, and there wasn't already a death spite set up, so you do at least get the damage set up through here.
Oh no, King Boss.
This one's not as bad.
Yeah, but still, it's a little bit weird.
In some
Um,
ways, it's okay because he'll empty his hand, and then the Doom Guard will be out. I actually
yeah,
find it pretty unlikely for the Void Caller to die this turn. Also,
yeah, that's true. Also, even if it did die, if he like executed it or something, King Boss come out, he'd probably still end up playing Doomguard because he would have seen an execute, and he would only be discarding 1 card potentially. There's a chance that it could be a 1-drop, which he'd be able to play it anyway.
they're in a lot of trouble here. He did manage to get both weapons and has even managed to spend all of his mana every single turn of the early game. But the Zeus just put on just enough pressure thanks to that Nerubian Egg Void Terror opening. Oh, he is going to execute that. Oh, that's going to sting.
Frog Berserker is going to be at 8 attack though, so it will contest whatever comes out on the board the next turn. Doomguard.
Yep, not even the Defender of Argus will push it out of range. At this point, you do probably have to hit. Ugh, it's so hard.
I think you
Your
hit
opponent's
face.
so close, but if you let that Doomguard go, you get punished by second execute.
I think I don't know. It feels like you have to risk it.
Yeah, the 5 damage is kind of too valuable. You give the opponent too much time if you only develop MK Boss. At the same time, though, you're at a lot of health, and the opponent's at few cards, so it is at the point where both plays are viable.
Yeah. He does have Doctor Boom, so he does have a threat.
Right. The fact that you have Dr. Boom also encourages you to trade. So, like, the factors against are this matchup is you want to kill them as quickly as possible. But
He can Defender
and
Vargas and go face.
that still opens you up to what you don't want to see, which is the execute. So it doesn't really help much to push only 1 damage.
Yeah.
He's gonna go for it though. That was
Yes.
not an easy decision. He's gonna be rewarded because it looks like Dart's only way of dealing with it is to send in the Frothing Berserker.
He can Battle Rage for 2. But then if he doesn't draw an execute, all of a sudden he has a weaker play, where he'd otherwise probably want to play Emperor Thorsan here, and that's what he's going to do. And Emperor Thorsan and trade into the Doomguard.
Dart can still do really well if he picks up Patron the next turn. If he doesn't get an answer to Dr. Boom, though, and doesn't get Patron, looks like it's going to be lights out for him. That is almost an answer. It's not a very good one, and There's a bit of risk to it, but it's the best he's got. He's gonna consider playing this just so he gets the extra card from Battle Rage. Makes sense. He's really digging for that execute. In fact, he's just gonna go all in on the execute. There were some worlds where he could have. Wow, is he gonna Battle Rage first? Okay. Okay, he draws into the Frothing, which is an answer. An interesting
Potentially.
line of play.
There's still boombots.
Right. Oh, that still has the green circle, which means he's not dead, and the thing can charge. Alright, good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were actually quite a few ways to play it. You could play a bit more risky and then Whirlwind first and then Battle Rage for an extra card and then possibly execute the Thorstein. You could choose not to attack first, and then that has a slight disadvantage of getting an extra imp, but chooses a line of play. That 4-3 taunt is really problematic because Warsong Patron no longer works.
But he's at the point where, like, he's sort of has the board.
Right.
So
It's going to be a really close stabilize here.
Red Corsair.
That helps.
That helps, yeah.
Helps a lot.
And he will
We're
be able
going
to
to start
fit in-
charging Warsong commanders at the minions.
He can charge. He can Warsong Commander charge the low health Warsong Commander to the Knife Juggler, charge his other Warsong Commander into the Defender of Argus, be left with a taunt up, so he's not dead to Doomguard.
Right. He has to make a choice whether or not he wants to go down to 1 or whether or not he wants to sacrifice one of his minions. At this point, there's just like a 2-1 right now, which he could sacrifice. Looks like he's going to take a middle ground approach.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like he might have managed to stabilize here.
Oh, no answer to Mal'Ganis, though. Just the straight Mal'Ganis. Goodness.
Wow. Oh,
that's
Battle Rage.
the best draw.
4
And
draws
execute.
potentially this turn for an execute.
Very high chance of
5
drawing
draws for an execute. I don't know if it's a very high chance because he's still got quite a few cards left in his deck.
Has he used
But
any of them? I
he's
don't.
used 1 execute, yeah.
Oh, right on the Void Collar, of all things.
Yeah. So he still has 1 more. If he doesn't draw into it... Uh-oh. Now he's only got 5 mana. So he's got to charge in his...
Armor Smith. That does work.
He's using a lot of resources
Really
here.
close. Next turn, though, he does have the Grim Patron. But at this point, Weasel is nearly certain not to play anything with less than 3 attack.
We can silence the Warsong Commander.
Oh,
And play Sylvanas.
that's strong. Oh man, Zoo is hanging in there by a thread. So is the Patron. It's difficult to say which player is just barely hanging in there. It's both.
Yeah. So if you play Sylvanas, then he can attack into it and trade in the Warsong Commander to guarantee no steal. So maybe the silence isn't even worth it. But it looks like he is going to go for that. The Owl does put an additional 2 power into play, which could be a big deal if he draws into something like Power Overwhelming. But that should be dealt with the Inner Rage. But at this point, I mean, Dart's running out of resources.
Yes.
That's both his Warsong Commanders gone. That's both his Frothing Berserkers gone. He does have Patrons left, but what Whirlwind effects does he have? He has a Death Spite. He has no
Surely you would
natural
want to start
Whirlwinds.
with Gnomish Inventor here.
There's a chance that, I mean, Dart might fatigue. He's got 3 cards left, I think.
Yep, and he manages to pull himself just out of Doomguard range. Wow, 5 cards left. Oh, Bane of Doom.
Wow.
All right, the Defender of Argus will allow. Well, at this point, Weasel can play any 2 attack minion because both Warsong commanders have been used, but still useful to get that into 3 attack range.
Armorsmith's pretty big pickup. I guess Dart still has a few cards remaining. What cards does he have left? Unstable Ghoul.
He's played both Frothing Berserkers, is that right?
Yeah, both Falling Berserkers, both War Songs, both Whirlwinds.
Right, and
He
the
played a
big threat
Despite.
of Thorsan and Harrison is done, so it's just those 2 patrons. But, 2 patrons, that's usually the win condition of this match anyways. And he does have the board, and he was very happy to draw that Armor Smith. Gets once again out of Doomguard range.
No, Doomguard off the top is lethal.
Oh, that's right.
With
Out
the
of what he
Bane of
thinks
Doom.
is Doomguard range.
Oh, he didn't get it.
Oh, Bane of Doom into Doomguard. There we go.
What's he gonna get? Ancient
He's like,
Blocker.
oh, why did I tap first?
That's still, yeah. I don't know. This feels like
That
it's gonna lock him out.
just did it.
Yeah. So, it looks like Dark can set up. No, I can't set up 2-turn. If he Despites this turn, he'll put him at 15. He would have, at maximum, 11 damage the next turn. If he played Grim Patron this turn as well. He has 3 cards remaining. No War Song, so he won't be able to charge any of them. So yeah, he'll set him at, 14 health with 6, 7, 11 damage on the board. So Weasel can tap, but I'm not sure what it's gonna accomplish. He needs to though. He realizes that there's no chargers left, so I don't think there's any damage. Both inner rages are gone too, I think. No, maybe there's an inner rage left.
Either way, it looks like just this is going to be good enough. Even if there were no cards left in Dart's deck, I'd still think he was the slight favorite.
Oh, no.
Explosion. It's got to be played.
If it rolls a 2, he's dead.
It's true.
But I don't think you really have a choice. I think you need to take the power off the board. Woodcaller is getting played no matter what, and he passes. And Cruel Taskmaster is going to do it. Okay. So Dart is going to tie the series up 2-2. Takes a win with Patron.
Quite a difficult one, but there it is.
Yeah. And, I mean, Weasel could have... He was pretty adamant about saying Bane of Doom is his favorite card in his bio from the qualifier the other day. He said he considers it to be a 5-mana Mal'Ganis because of how often he gets Mal'Ganis from it, but today he wasn't that lucky. And we are going to move to a game number 5 here in the losers matchup. So both these players fighting for their tournament lives. It's going to come down to Weasel's mid-range Zoo versus Dart's Rogue. And we said the statistics earlier. Mid-range Zoo does have an advantage in this matchup. 42% win rate for Rogues. That means about a 58% win rate for the mid-range Zoo. Over about a 50-game sample size. But, I mean, at this stage, I feel like it could go anybody's way. The momentum's in Dart's favor.
Yeah, I mean, those stats are pretty good, especially considering the caliber of Rogue. It just means that Zoo would probably, say on the ladder, be even more favored, because the tough deck to play in this matchup would probably be Rogue. You usually want to go second with the SI7, and usually need to get a good SI7. It's kind of similar to Druid versus Zoo, where you want to get that keeper. You want to get the SI7 in this case.
Yeah. Actually, could end up being a big deal. Not having the coin as a rogue is bad in a few ways, not just for SI7 agent, but just being able to combo things in general or getting things out on the board quickly. And we'll get Dart's hand up in a second. Wow, he doesn't pick up a backstab. Prep, though.
Yeah, prep's decent. There's two choices. He can do the really tempo play of prep, deadly poison, SI, or he can simply do deadly poison to set up for a preparation sprint. That looks to be the more reasonable one because to some extent you do need to you can't just go all out against this deck. This deck has lasting power, the zoo.
Yeah. And I'd say Weasel has a pretty decent hand. He's got Powerwhelming Void Terror.
There you go. For the preparation sprint, unusual against a faster deck like Zoo. More better against the control decks, but picks up the backstab.
Both backstab.
And this just might be fast enough to deal with Weasel's not so fast hand.
Yeah, he's definitely drawing into all of his tempo tools here, picking up both preparations in his first 10 cards, plus backstab and SI, so he's going to be in a pretty good spot. Wouldn't be surprised if Weasel just goes for Powerwhelming Void Terror here. There is a potential for him to go for Void Caller, but I think it's sort of wasted potential because the only demon he has in his hand is the Void Terror, which you definitely want to get value out in this matchup because you really can apply absurd amounts of pressure. So he's going to have a 4/4 plus a large Void Terror on the board.
Very tasty. He makes this knowing the risk of sap, and especially since his opponent just sprinted. Dart does have the sap, and he even has the prep to go with it, so he could make the tempo play of... Wow, something... There's quite a few tempo plays here. Preparation sap into SI7, Redagger, or into Azure Drake backstab.
He could backstab the Void Terror, then Prep Fan, then Blade Flurry SI, and it would clear the board.
Yeah, a lot of different options. Takes the one which doesn't use the prep.
Oh,
Just uses the SI7. That's a pretty good use of mana.
it actually wouldn't clear the board. It would leave the Void Terror with 1 health, so that's not a good idea. Wow, picks up the Doom Guard, so he can play the Void Caller here, and if it's not dealt with, he can Void Terror his own Void Caller to get not only the value from the Void Terror once again, but also plop out a Doom Guard.
It's pretty good. The slight danger is Dart does know that there's a Void Terror in Weasel's hand, so he knows at the very least he has a chance to bring out the Void Terror. That wouldn't be a terrible outcome either, though, for Weasel.
It might lull Dart into a false sense of security, though, saying, oh, he only has a Void Terror, but then all of a sudden a Doom Guard comes out. Which is scary also.
Surprise!
Yeah. There's not really an
judging from the
efficient way
flow
to
of the
deal with
game, Dart's looking pretty good. He managed to... Getting the card draw off on turn 4 is very risky as an oil rogue, since generally you're feeling a good amount of pressure, but right now seems to be alright.
That Azure Drake feels like being the king of the show here. There we go. All right, so he has the option. He can Void Terror into the SI7, then or Void Caller into the SI7, then Void Terror his Void Caller to pop out the Doom Guard. Doom Guard into the Azure Drake.
Yeah, that looks really good.
And
Probably
Coin
fits.
Implosion. Or Coin Defender.
Yeah. Probably more likely to Coin Defender just because that would be a lot of guys at 1 health.
That's very
Never
true.
mind, it wouldn't be that many guys at 1 health.
Actually, 0. Oh, unless he implosions. He's going to eat this up. It's going to be a 6/4. And it's going to plop
Right.
out the Doom Guard, which is going to go into the Azure Drake, most likely.
In this case, since there's so few... That is a 3 damage weapon, though. And the Doom Guard is at 3. This is going to be pretty risky. Oh, that's a 4. Dart really wants to get a spell damage here.
He has Fan, so he can just...
That's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, he could just Fan Blade Flurry. If he really wants to, he can Prep Fan, and then Blade Flurry Lothep. Or Prep Fan Blade Flurry Anti-Healbot. Either way,
Lothep,
Dart's looking
so
like
strong.
he's in a commanding position here. I think Weasel's going to need something really big off the top. because it's going to be tough for him to come back in this matchup.
That's right, with Dart at a commanding, very comfortable health total, decent amount of cards, and the cards he has are all pretty useful.
Voidwalker is not a powerful card. But it looks like he's just going to empty his hand here to try and fight back on the board. Realize
I'm a
that he
little bit
leaves it
surprised by
open.
this. Feels like he needed to tap for some better answer.
So he picks up Deadly Poison. That's an activator for Oriole. At the very least. I guess he's just going to go ahead and do it.
Right. It's a good one just to spend the mana efficiently and clear the minions as well.
Yep. So does Dart set up for lethal next turn? He's got 9 damage. Yes. That was easy. Easy calculation. Does he have
Dart
lethal
breathes
now?
a sigh of relief. Despite his possibly 3-game swing, he's very far ahead here.
Yeah, he's actually 1 damage off lethal. He has 7 damage on the board. Eviscerate to the face would be 3, so that's 10. Plus oil would be an extra 6, so that's 16.
Right,
to
if
be
he
honest,
only had some kind of combo enabler, he would have it.
but he does not. I mean, he could probably just play Shredder, eviscerate the Void Terror, and then go face. That would be the, I guess, relatively safe play. The riskier play would just be to go for it, put him at 1, make it so he can't tap. Then you can just dagger up, kill him next turn. You've already seen a Defender of Argus.
All roads lead to victory, though.
Yeah. He's going to make sure that he gives himself the best possible chance to win, and it looks like that is going to be by playing safe. And interesting to see if he attacks with the dagger here too. He is going to. So just with the Sharp Sword Oil without the activation, he does set up lethal. If Weasel taps, then he's dead anyway. Taunt is going to buy him another turn. Implosion, if it rolls for 4, I guess he's just going to do it on the Paladin Shredder. I think it might even be better to just do it on the Azure Drake and hope you get a 4.
Yeah, I think so also.
Yeah, looks like he realizes it. He does get it.
Oh.
I still don't think there's a way that Dart loses this. He even has anti-kill bot.
Merely an annoyance. But I guess I can see one world. We need the top deck Mal'Ganis.
Into the top deck Doomguard. Into double power overwhelming. Well, he already used one, so into power overwhelming. And this one's about to come to a close here. Weasel
So
doesn't
fast.
really have a way
Mal'Ganis.
out. Mal'Ganis,
Not quite.
he still needs to tap, because power overwhelming isn't enough, even if he gets a Doomsayer. Knife Juggler is not going to be it either. And Weasel is going to watch his tournament hopes come to a close. Dart, despite his hiccups in game number 1, is still going to take this series and at least give himself one more chance to try and go in. And Dart takes the series 3-2 over Weasel.
Well, unpunished.
Unpunished.
There breathes a sigh of relief there. That's... And every
Impressive.
single game that he played was so close as well. The Patron game, he barely eked out. The Zoo game, he was a close winner on. By the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, so Dart's going to move on to play in the final elimination match against Roger. So these guys have not matched up today, as Dart played against Strife Crow in the first matchup, and Weasel played against Roger in the first matchup. So both these players have not faced each other yet today. We haven't seen their decks line up. but that will be the final elimination match. The loser of this next one is going to be out of the tournament. The winner is going to move on to the semi-finals. I believe before then we are going to go to a quick break, but during the break, make sure you guys head over to geico.onog.gg. You're running out of opportunities to enter in for your chance to win an official TSM PC. I think it will be going all the way through PAX. Speaking of PAX, as a quick reminder, at the end of the month, the grand finals at PAX will be taking place, I believe, on the 29th to the 31st or the 30th through the 1st. But at the end of August is when the grand finals at PAX is taking place. Trump, of course, will be competing as well. There'll be a $25,000 prize pool as well as 230 World Championship points to give away. But again, guys, we are going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. The conclusion to Group B of the Summer Circuit will continue right after this.